And we generally like to have at least one member, but as a courtesy to him to get off to another committee, we're going to go ahead and get started here today. Senator Morrell, you have SB 1155.
I do, and thank you, Senator Nielsen, for accommodating me. I do apologize, but I have a constituent from the San Bernardino County Sheriff's coming in at 2, so meeting with him. So thank you. Good afternoon, and again, I'm here to present SB 1155, which will grant one fee waiver to honorably discharge veterans seeking an occupational license in California. Application and license fees can act as a barrier to the 240 to 360,000 veterans seeking to transition to civilian workforce each year. Many of these veterans will make California their home, and many more would like to. This bill will create an incentive for veterans to apply their skill set to an occupation in California. As we know, veterans often gain valuable job skills during military service. Unfortunately, despite this fact, young veterans have an unemployment rate of 16.2%. In addition, California has the most homeless veterans of any state in our nation. If we are able to more effectively harness the job skills learned in military service, we may be able to bring more veterans into the workforce. This will grow the skilled labor market in California, creating more and higher paying jobs. By removing a barrier of entry, this bill's effects will be twofold. First, to grow California's economy, and second, to address the growing issue of veterans homelessness. Specifically, SB 1155 will require boards and bureaus within the Department of Consumer Affairs to waive the initial license and application fees for honorably discharged veterans. Each board has their own way of processing applications and licenses, and therefore each will need to comply in their own way. Multiple states have passed similar legislation. It is time for California to join them in encouraging higher unemployment rates, or joining them in reducing higher unemployment rates for our veterans. I would like to introduce Ms. Kohler, who will testify in support of SB 1155, who currently works in government affairs and chair for the California Association of Licensed Investigators. And again, thank you. And
Thank you, Senator Morrell. Please proceed.
Thank you, Senator Morrell.
Like
Good afternoon, Senator Nielsen and committee. As a member of the Government Affairs Committee of the California Association of Licensed Investigators and the past president, we heartily support this bill to allow our men and women who have served this country access to our licensing bureau at a lower fee. Thank you.
And let me stop now. We believe we have a quorum present. Secretary, please call the roll.
Nielsen?
Here.
Weso? Allen?
Here.
Wynn? Roth?
Here.
We do have a quorum present. Please proceed.
Thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Conity?
Mr. Chairman, members, Pete Conity representing about 20 veterans groups, and we are in strong support of this bill. We think it'll help significantly reduce veterans in the state of California's employment and offer new opportunities for them to get jobs that require professional licenses.
Okay. All right. And do we have any other testimony in support of the bill in the audience? Any other supporters? Just to come up, please, and identify yourselves.
Good afternoon, Lorraine Plas, State Legislative Chair for American Veterans. We support this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Colonel Lorna Grease, legislative representative from Military Officers Association here in California. I think getting the veterans back to work will solve many of our other problems we're trying to solve. So we support this bill.
Well, these are particularly key positions because they're licensed positions and very professional. Please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, my name is Don Harper. I'm chair of the Legislative Commission for the American Legion Department of California. We have 95,000 Legionnaires living in this great state. We are very supportive of this bill and request an aye vote on this bill. Thank you.
All right. Any other support out in the audience? Do we have anyone in opposition to the bill? Any questions or comments from members of the committee? Do we have a motion?
Do you have a sense of?
Senator Allen.
I'm sorry. Do you have a sense of the cost of the state? I know that's probably in the materials.
You know, there's been different estimates on it, but the long term, when people get back to work, especially an unemployment rate as high as 6.2, when California is around 5%, if we knock that in half to 8%, you're going to have quite a few people paying their taxes, spending money, which will bring in sales tax revenues. So I think if we can get these good people back to work, I think it's going to be a considerable net gain to our state.
Did you have an off comment?
Yes, I did. Thank you, Senator. For the private investigators, we have our own fund that is completely separate from any of the other funds with the Bureau of Security Investigative Services. The fund is always very well funded, and there's plenty of money there to allow these veterans to have their license.
What
and
is the
fees
yearly
waived.
licensing fee for
It's $125 every 2 years.
$125?
Every 2 years, and there's approximately 10,000 private investigator licensees in the state.
Well, that gives you a rough estimate of what it would be, the cost.
Yeah, and it is in your Senate, in the committee analysis.
Okay.
Chair,
Senator Roth.
to answer my colleague's question, I believe that this comes through Budget Subcommittee 4. I think all of these boards and commissions operate with special funds, if I recall correctly. So the only impact would be to the viability of the special funds itself.
Yeah, it says minimal cost to the state in the committee analysis.
Senator Allen, further questions?
No, thank you.
Senator Roth, anything else? Okay, thank you for the testimony, and do we have a motion? Senator Roth moves.
Thank you.
Okay, Secretary will call the roll.
Senate Bill 1155 do pass, but first we refer to appropriations. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Waso? Allen? Allen, aye. Wynn? Aye. Wynn, aye. Roth? Aye. Roth, aye.
Okay.
Thank you
I'd
very
like
much.
to take up the consent calendar next, if we may then. And on the consent calendar, we have item 7, SB 1227, Lara, and item 9, SR 69. And do we have a motion on the consent calendar? So moved by Senator Roth. Secretary will call the roll on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 1227 do pass, but first we refer to appropriations and Senate Resolution 69 to be adopted. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Waso? Allen? Aye. Allen, aye. Wynn? Aye. Wynn, aye. Roth? Roth, aye.
Okay. That consent calendar has passed. And seeing no other authors, Senator Roth, would you like to present your bill?
And are we going to keep this open for Waso?
Pardon?
Are we keeping these open for Waso?
The what? He's going to be here, isn't he? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Senator. Senator Roth, you have SB 866, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. Senate Bill 866 clarifies that applicants of the Veterans Housing and Homeless Prevention Program may use Proposition 41 bond proceeds to provide women-only housing with women-centric supportive services to female veterans who are victims of military sexual trauma. As you know, the agencies responsible for Prop 41 implementation plan to make approximately $75 million available on an annual basis, with the goal of eventually providing stable, transitional, and supportive housing to 7,000 homeless and at-risk veterans and their families. While the first year of funding was very successful, interestingly, no applicants have sought to provide gender-specific housing for victims of military sexual trauma. Women who were assaulted, raped, or sexually harassed during their military service suffer from the effects of military sexual trauma for years in the form of psychological, physical, and social problems. This is because MST victims have been found to suffer different and more severe mental health symptoms than civilian women who have been sexually assaulted. Some studies suggest that military sexual trauma is more likely to lead to post-traumatic stress disorder than even combat exposure. The U.S. VA has reported that approximately 1 in 4 female veterans report experiencing MST. Making up only 4% of the veteran population, female veterans often report feeling intimidated in predominantly male facilities where sexual assaults, unfortunately, remain all too common. In fact, female veterans experience sexual assault after their military service at up to 12 times the rate of the general civilian population. This concern for their own safety often leads women, especially those who have suffered from MST, to be deterred from accessing the housing and supportive services that they need and certainly deserve. To the extent that developers and applicants refrain from moving forward with gender-specific housing projects for victims of MST because of concerns that such projects would violate federal or state housing discrimination laws, Senate Bill 866 specifically authorizes such projects and identifies a compelling state interest in them. The bill is supported by veterans organizations and has no opposition. I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Senator Roth. Colonel?
Yes. Colonel Lorna Grease, representing Military Officers Association here in California. I can't really imagine what it's like for a young woman coming home, a victim of sexual trauma. It must be difficult living next to the trigger of your anxiety. So we thoroughly support this bill and ask your support also.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, again, Don Harper with American Legion. In my other hat in my career, I've dealt with housing for veterans for a long, long time. And there always has been a special need for women coming back with MST issues. They should have special housing and be taken care of the best they can. So the Legion really supports this bill. Thank you.
Lorraine Plas, American Veterans. We heartily support this bill.
Yeah.
Chairman, member Pete Conity, representing the VFW, California Association of County Veterans Service Officers and Vietnam Veterans of America, and we are in support of this legislation.
Thank you. Do we have any additional witnesses in support? Any other support out there? Okay, very good. And do we have any opposition to the bill? Senator Roth, I want to thank you. You know, our committee has talked in the last 2 years about some of the unique needs of women veterans. And I'd say that you've authored the capstone bill thus far, addressing some of those unique concerns. Certainly is far beyond my ken of understanding what all of those would be, but I certainly believe that you've addressed it in a very huge way here, this bill. Do we have any comments, Assemblyman Allen, or questions, the author? Okay.
Trying to keep my job in the Senate, but I like the bill and I will support it.
Such obvious merit, Senator Roth. Why don't you give us a close then?
We just respectfully ask for your aye vote and thank you for your time.
Okay. Do we have a motion to pass?
So moved.
Okay, so moved. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senate Bill 866 do pass, but first we refer to appropriations. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Weso? Allen?
Aye.
Allen, aye. Wynn? Roth?
Aye. Okay, we have 3 votes aye. We will put the bill on call, and we will wait our other members to.
So we're waiting for, everybody's in committee right now?
Yeah.
The sergeants are working on it?
We've got a lot of bills on committee, in committee. Let me go ahead, if I may present my bill then. Senator Roth, would you be so kind as to chair this just for a moment for me?
I'll certainly try.
Well, I have no question you will be more than able to do that, sir. Chairman Roth and Senator Allen, the Veterans Code has, as many of our state codes, accumulated many references over the years and a lot of archaic terminology, and seldom do we ever go back through and review it and try to update it and rid ourselves of some of it. During the past year, our committee and committee staff has worked with the stakeholder groups in the Department of Veterans Affairs to review the code. And we've agreed that the time is nigh to give some key updates in the verbiage of our codes. The veteran system through these more recent years has exploded from, well, I actually say to my experience, 1 home, but now from 3 homes to now 8 homes. The administrative challenges that have grown through the years are enormous as the numbers of veterans have increased, and we believe that greater clarity in the codes are now due, and that's what our attempt is. The department thus far has taken no position on the bill, but they've been helpful in answering technical questions.
Excuse me.
In addition to providing some updated language for greater clarity, it offers a couple of substantive additions or contributions. I'd like to have Mr. Conity explore, and they are the sponsors of the bill, one of the sponsors, to offer some insights, if he will.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, last year when there was considerable turmoil in the Veterans Home, several of us looked at the Veterans Code and we knew it was outdated, but we actually found references from 1935. We're still in the Military and Veterans Code, and 1946 when we had 1 Veterans Home. So we put together a update of the code. We presented it to the senator and his staff, and he graciously agreed to help us update this area. And I think it helps CalVet immensely. We have gone from 1 home to 8 homes, and I would say 90% of the bill consists of just simply code updating. And we took suggestions from the stakeholders and from CalVet. There appears to be 3 areas of disagreement, and I want to highlight them to you. One is we would like the word electronic records in the bill, because everybody is moving to electronic records, and CalVet and their 8 homes need to move to electronic military records. Another one is quality of care teams, which go around and do assessments on the quality of care in the different homes. And we think that needs to continue. But I guess what's not in the bill that eventually we hope would make it into the bill would be a date on when CalVet has finished updating their regulations and all their policies. And it's not CalVet's fault that this has happened. They went from 1 home to 8 home and really didn't have the staff or the people to help them update all their codes. But there needs to be uniformity in the 8 veterans homes. Each home now has, I believe, slightly different admission standards, you know, and they don't have uniform policies that they need, such as for sexual harassment, elder abuse, reporting requirements. So those are just some of them. So we respectfully ask for your support.
Of particular interest, members, is the quality of care assessment, institution by institution. That needs to be very consistent and understood.
Lorna Grease, representing Military Officers Association here in California. We support the bill. I would also like to see some of Mr. Conity's additions in it.
Yes, Don Harper with the American Legion. We really support this bill and make the homes more efficient as they should be in helping the veterans in there. Thank you.
Lorraine Plas, American Veterans, Department of California State Legislative Chair. We support this move.
Any other witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? Any public comment? Well, I'll move the bill.
And Mr. Chairman, if we make any additions along the way as the bill progresses, we will certainly keep the committee apprised of what those may be.
I do want to ask a clarifying question, having made the motion, that has nothing to do, I guess, with this bill, or not necessarily anything to do with the bill. I'm now fascinated with the thought that we have a State Department that operates homes with a fairly substantial piece of the department's budget that don't have common standardized procedures. Mr. Chair, perhaps we should think about having, either I can ask the questions during the budget process in budget subcommittee number 4, or we can have a joint session of this committee and the budget committee to have some conversation with the department about that issue.
The standards of admission, you mean?
Well, I'm talking about sexual harassment.
Oh, yes.
Policies and procedures. I'm talking about standardized policies and procedures in general. The department's here, so perhaps the department can address that in public comment.
Is this turn on? Yeah.
Please.
JP Tremblay with the California Department of Veterans Affairs. In terms of policies and procedures, we do have policies for sexual harassment and other operations within elder abuse, reporting of elder abuse, not only from our own department, but regulations that are mandated through public health and social services agencies which oversee our homes. So there are policies and procedures for that. There are some differences between each of the homes and some of the admissions processes because some of the homes offer different levels of care, different types of care. For example, all of the new homes do not have domiciliary residents in those homes. So there's no procedures there for admissions of domiciliary residents. Lancaster Ventura only have RCFE, so they have no skilled nursing or domiciliary. So there are some different standardizations. As a result, though, there are some areas where there are some things we have and identified that we need to get more standardized throughout the system. And we are working on that. We have been working with the author's office and the committee staff on advising them and providing them with information. And we are working internally on policies and procedures for all of the homes to have a standardized approach throughout all of the homes. And additional, for example, one of the other areas is some of the services, ancillary services that are provided to residents. For example, some of the homes a resident may get as a resident gets a subscription to the local newspaper. At one of the other homes, they may have to go out and buy that newspaper. So we're trying to standardize all those little things that are different at some of the homes to make sure that it's consistent. So when you move, say, from Los Angeles to maybe Yountville, you'll get the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not as concerned about newspapers as I am about some of the other.
I bring that as an example.
Perhaps you could get with Mr. Conity and then, with the chair's permission, either come back in here and sort of brief us on that standardization.
Sure. Yes, sir.
Progress or come to Budget Subcommittee 4 with the chair's permission.
Gladly. Yes, sir.
Just so long as I get to hear it at some point in time, somewhere.
Understood.
Was that acceptable, Mr.
Chairman Routh, more than so, in my capacity as chair of this committee and with yours as the chairman of Sub 4, I would like to have conversations with you forthwith to think about how we would approach it from the standpoint of this committee on which you serve and Sub 4 which you chair. I think that would be very productive, and Mr. Tremblay has said he's willing to provide information. Do we need to go further in a more elaborate hearing? I don't know, but you and I could consider that.
Perfect.
Work with the pro tem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
Please call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, could I please make one comment? And I want to state for the record that the new secretary, who's a medical doctor, is working very hard on this issue. And CalVet has been working very hard to solve these problems. So I don't want to leave the impression that they're not interested or care. I just know that if you give people a deadline, it sharpens their focus and gets the job done sooner. Thank you.
And we are focused on it, and I think this bill is appropriately so now because there has been an exponential growth, and all of these new facilities have come online now, and it's time to kind of step back and take a look and make sure that we're all in alignment again. I think it's time for that. That was really the purpose of the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Perfect.
Senate Bill 980 do pass, but first we refer to judiciary. Nielsen?
Aye.
Nielsen, aye. Weso? Allen? Nguyen? Roth?
Aye.
Roth, aye.
I'll hold the roll open for absent members.
Folks, appears we're waiting for authors, so if we can be patient. Senator Bates?
Oh, yeah.
You're
We've
up
already
to,
decided on the bill in the hall.
you're up to bat.
I'm teasing.
Senator Bates has SB 1183 today.
Yes.
Welcome.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. SB 1183 provides a full property tax exemption to 100% disabled veterans and their spouses on their primary residence. Veterans who are 100% disabled as a direct result of serving our country should not live in fear nor be put in jeopardy of losing the residence they gave so much to earn. Am I in the right bill here?
No, well, yes, you are, but we're not.
Oh, okay.
So we'll listen.
Okay. It would replace the arbitrary $100,000 to $150,000 property tax exemption adjusted for inflation instead of exempting the full value of the primary residence of a 100% disabled veteran and his or her spouse. The cost of housing in California, I think we all know, is near record high, climbing to California's average home value of about $460,000 is nearly 2.5 times the national average. In veteran-rich counties such as Orange and San Diego, median home values are over $640,000 and $540,000 respectively. The current exemption at just a fraction of the value of most California homes does very little to help our most vulnerable veterans. SB 1183 would afford those who have served and sacrificed the opportunity to maintain their quality of life without the fear of losing their homes. The bill is sponsored by the Disabled Veterans of America, Cal Diego chapter, and I'm honored to have retired U.S. Army Captain Glenn Middleton here in support. He's joined by his wife, Rocio, and son, Scott.
Okay, please proceed.
Is this on or? Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. As Senator Bates was graciously introducing me, I'm a retired Army captain, 10 years on active duty, first in field artillery, and then in aviation. I loved serving my country, but when I was diagnosed with MS, I was not able to fly anymore. So my career ended at that point. Today I'm here because I brought some of the following facts and a few more to the Cal Diego chapter of the Paralyzed Veterans of America, which were brought to the Assembly, to Assembly Member Devin Mathis's office, which led to Assembly Bill 1556 and Senator Patricia Bates' office, which created 1183. There are a few points I would like to make today. First, the criteria for this exemption comes directly from the language of the California DMV Disabled Veteran License Plate criteria. The language was changed a few years ago from all 100% VA service-connected veterans to 100% service-connected and severely mobility impaired or blind. Once the veterans who are grandfathered in cease to drive or pass away, the number of the veterans who qualify for those plates will dramatically drop from about 15,700, which is from the DMV statisticians that are currently on the road. But even at that number, if all the veterans who own their primary home were able to qualify for a mortgage, the estimated cost to the state of California by enacting Senate Bill 1183 would be approximately $80 million. Using the median home value of $548,000 today, that means less than $2 per resident per year. Less than a gallon of gas to say thank you to our severely mobility impaired or blind service-connected veterans and their families. The second point I'd like to make is that families of those veterans If I should pass away today, God forbid, but we all do, my wife Rocio would not continue to receive my VA service-connected compensation, but would instead start to receive death and indemnity compensation from the Department of Veterans Affairs. This amounts to less than 1/4 of what I receive currently. So she would still have to maintain our home, and 1/4 of her benefit would go to pay property taxes in the state of California, about $400 a month out of $1,600 that she would receive in DIC. She might have to sell our home, take my son out of school, and move to a lower cost state because of that inequity. I would also like to point out, finally, that there are 10 other states in the United States who exempted 100% of property taxes from all 100% service-connected disabled veterans. In the state of California, from the Department of Veterans Affairs, there are 30,000 100% service-connected disabled veterans. That would cost $160 million to the state of California if enacted like those other states did. That's about $4 per resident per year to enact it at that rate. Well, we're not asking for that. We're only asking for the criteria that's in the Department of Motor Vehicles disabled veteran license plate criteria, and it would be less than $80 million to the state of California per year. Did I mention that that's less than a gallon of gas? Thank you.
Do you have any other witnesses in support of the measure?
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, again, Don Harper from the American Legion. We strongly support this bill. Thank you.
Lorna Grease, Military Officers Association, we strongly support this bill.
Lorraine Plas, AMVETS, Department of California State Legislative Chair. We are also in support. Thank you.
Pete Conity representing VFW, VVA, California Association of County Veterans Service Officers, the American GI Forum, and the California State Commanders Veterans Council in support. Thank you.
I find it instructive that Howard Jarvis Taxpayers also supports Senator Bates' bill. Any other testimony in support? Is there any opposition? Any comments or questions from members of the committee?